Holly, you're up, girl.
So this is what you've all been waiting for, and thank you for the people who came just for this and have been messaging me like, "What are you going to talk about this?" Um, so I'm sure you've all heard by now that Zillow and ChatGPT are now in bed together. Uh,
Everybody's heard this, Holly.
all right.
Everybody.
So they're in bed together now. So Zillow is inside ChatGPT. So we wanted to talk a little bit about what that means for real estate agents and how you can, leverage that and win, come out ahead. So first of all, I tried it myself. You should try it as well. See if you can get it to work, the integration to work. So far on my phone, on my app, which is upgraded, it's not working. Could be my region, I don't know. But it will eventually work, just like all things AI. At first, it's a slow burn. But now is the time more than ever to become the community expert and really drive down your services to a niche. So, you know, because what you want to do is you want to develop that street cred, develop trust, and make sure that when these AIs are out there researching very quickly, mind you, and they're trying to find the expert on that subject, you're the one that comes up. Your videos, your blog, your social media, your reviews. So there's a couple different ways we can start doing that if you haven't yet. The first is to, make sure you've got all of your profiles up and running and built out, and you're freshening them regularly with posts and information about your community. Decide which community you want to focus on, because I'm telling you, you're going to want to focus on one community in order to win this battle, right? Instead of trying to be the one that comes up when somebody just researches homes in Iowa, I want to be the expert when they look for homes in Spencer. Now, are there other markets around me that have higher price points that'd be great to sell? Great, yes. But I would rather spend all my time and energy making sure everyone knows I am the Spencer, Iowa community expert. So you want to make sure you have your Google business profiles, and we're going to do trainings on these after we're done with our Slack trainings. So for the rest of the year, but Google business profiles, your Yelp profile, your Zillow profile, and any sort of like other profiles that you can think of, well, Yelp, but Yelp, we'll get to that in a second. So you want to make sure that your business information is up to date. You've got the same phone number, the same email. I would argue the same headshot, which is another training we can do on how to make headshots more creative and stand out. Um, but you want to become the community expert. So you want to make sure you're doing those videos, interviews, food reviews of the local businesses and restaurants in your area. You want to make sure that you're even collaborating with them. So you're, getting that um, crossover audience, right? You want to make sure that you're sharing articles, sharing community news, when all the events are happening, where they're happening, who's hosting them. And you want to be the source of the information, not just about real estate houses, but truly about the market, because that is what's going to differentiate you from the AI. So I was listening to this really fascinating podcast a couple of days ago on one of my long drives, and they were talking to a startup that had failed. And the moral of the story was this startup started because they thought they could cut out the real estate agent and they could do direct to consumers, buyers and sellers, and really help, do things from some office in California all over the country, right? They did not take into consideration the emotional and the emotional impact that real estate transactions are. And at the end of the day, there's value in that, right? So they would work with somebody and then they'd get ghosted. And the person would be like, well, it was multiple offers, so we wanted to go with an agent that knew the market. We wanted to go with an agent that has worked with the listing agent before. It's the same reason why you as agents prefer to work with lenders that are local, right? Like you would rather work with a local lender than one that's at one of these mass companies. Now, we can get the deal done, sure, but it's a little uneasy. Like when you're talking to your seller, are you more inclined to be like, hey, this is the local bank down the street versus this is a big one. Like, what are your experiences been, right? Because that local energy matters. So become the community expert. Pick a niche. So beyond even being the community expert, what is your niche? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it senior citizens who are downsizing and ready to move on? How can you help them with that transition? Auctions, moving, all of the things. So we can, again, we can do a training on each one of these, even more specific. So I'll try to keep it short. But the ChatGPT is going to connect the data. It's not going to tell these people the history necessarily. It's not going to tell them how the carpet smells. Sandy made a really great song. I don't know if we can release it, but it's a really great song about how, these AIs can't, they can try to tell you what your home is worth, but even that is hit or miss because they're not taking into consideration the quality of the materials used, the fact that a flood took down the basement last year, that the entire house needs to be burned because it just smells like cat pee, right? So those are the things that are going to matter at the end of the day. So I would say you need to really figure out who you are, what area you want to serve. I mean, I think it's easiest to serve in the community that you live in, but moving isn't necessarily an option for everybody. So you got to make your choice. But I lost my train of thought, of course. So one thing that you can do, and I don't think that you can do it. You can try saying top realtor in or best real estate agent in Spencer, Iowa, or best real estate agent near me. Now, I've tried that before, and my ChatGPT has been like, "Oh, Holly Brink." I think it knows me though, right? So I would rather have Ann or Sandy or even Nate in Arizona. Can you pull up ChatGPT and see who the best real estate agent is in Spencer, Iowa? And if it's not me, then I've got some work to do, right? And then you've got to maintain it because if we've learned anything these past 6 months, it's that AI is growing faster than we can imagine. Like it's the fastest, like it's like when a little baby goes from like infant to like 3, but it's happening in a course of 48 hours. So you've got to keep on top of it. You got to be at a company that's on top of it. Like you can't have developed a program, you know, 6 months ago and then just sit on it. You have to continually make advancements and make improvements and lean into all the things. So that is my soapbox for today. Any thoughts or questions from the peanut gallery?
Well, I just wanted to quickly say, like, the reason I sarcastically was like, yeah, everybody knows that Zillow and ChatGPT are like, Holly, nobody knows this. Like, you are always at the forefront of technology. And that's part of the reason why we're so fortunate to have you at this brokerage and sharing your knowledge with us because the fact, like, you were telling me about this last night. I'm like, oh shit, we got to put this in our company meeting. I didn't even know it, and I stay pretty up and up. So I have never had a brokerage that teaches me this stuff as it's coming out. And you and I truly want to be this brokerage where agents are learning this shit like day of, next day. They know their shit when they go into their next listing appointment because their sellers were listening to the news or, they're not caught off guard. We want you to be the very best you can possibly be. And so, yeah, I just wanted to explain, where my sarcasm was coming from because it's like you really know your shit and we are all better for it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. One thing I didn't say either is I think that now is the time to lean into not only blog posts, which are not even because anyone's going to read them, you guys, but because the AI is going to read them. So I think now's the time to invest in blog posts and that those single page property websites that we can do on our website, on our luxury presence site, I think that's going to be huge. And then really triggering the keywords and we're pivoting now from like 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 400,000 to like the stories and what are buyers searching for. It might not be the specific verbiage we have in the MLS. It might be, it's more human, right? So all things to think about. More trainings will come out. We have so much to cover and not enough time. We might even do a class and then release it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so excited. I love it when ideas just come to me. All
I
right.
love segments, Holly, when you really get going. That was awesome.